You're watching TVC Breakfast. Let's get to our last discussion of the day. The media plays a very crucial role in any society. This is why it is often referred to as the fourth estate of the realm, acting as a check on government and holds politicians and government agencies accountable for what they say and do. Mainstream media embodies the watchdog role in societies and in a way protects democracy and citizens' rights. Now, within the electoral context, the media encourages public participation in elections by creating awareness and sensitizing the people on electoral processes. But there is so much more the media does, and we'll be talking about all of these and the place of media in the mix. Joining me to shed more light is the commissioning editor, The Conversation Africa, Wale Fatade. Wale, good morning. It's good to see you.
Good morning, my brother.
We're seeing for the first time this year.
Yeah, it's been a long while. And as Akebe has told us, when a man wakes up, it's his morning.
It is morning, exactly.
So Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Don't we enjoy so many beautiful things in Africa? All right. Now, here in our space, the media does a lot of things, and someone once said that the media is like a two-edged sword.
Oh, yeah.
You can use it for good, you can use it for bad, depending on what the thing is. But let's talk from the perspective of how good the media is supposed to be to the society. Now, let's start from the perspective of the role of media. Do we all understand the role, the original role of the media, even for those of us who are in the profession?
Well,
talk to us from there.
Well, I'm not so sure. I think in the last few years, maybe about 10 years now, we've had a set of journalists who were attracted to the profession by the glamour. And especially for your own job, broadcasting. The liberalization of the broadcast space, we have seen a kind of increase in the number of radio stations especially. It's led to all manner of people joining the profession. And for those of us who started practicing journalism under dictatorship, military era, we look back, we were not attracted there by the glamour. And so I find it very unsettling. That's the appropriate word now. When I see people, journalists, especially incoming ones, seeing journalism as that glamour profession. It has the glamour, no doubt, but it's beneath the glamour. It's crunching hard work, the crucial work. And so the role of, like you said in the intro, our role as a watchdog, I'm not sure we understand that. And you remember again that the watchdog role is actually enunciated in the Constitution. So the media has a constitutional role to play when you're talking about watching this democracy. And you find out that what we do now is more of reportage. I was taught when I started journalism that a press release is just a starting point. That every press release is designed to say a certain kind of view. That is my role as a reporter to go for that. Now, I've seen radio stations, newspaper houses, leading or using press releases as their lead story. And beyond announcement journalism, beyond press release journalism, beyond the question of Wale has declared today, Mike has declared tomorrow. What are Mike's antecedents? What are Wale antecedents? That is lacking. The context is lacking. And that's very, very upsetting. We were taught that you do what we call those days background. And I remember I started without internet, without Facebook, without Twitter. So you get to the library, you bring down that dusty file, and you look at what that fellow said the last time. You situate it in the context of what he or she is saying now. And so you now provide a better nuance for the reportage.
All right.
But we don't have that now.
What is responsible for this transition now? Because the point is, we have more tools now, like you were hinting.
More tools.
We have more tools. We have,
gadgets.
That should have made it easier.
Yeah.
Because with a smartphone, anyone can do a lot of research, can do a lot of findings. But yet, with all of these, we still have so many people who are, looking forward to the fame and the glamour, like you said. But what is responsible for that, anyway?
Well, that's a whole seminar topic, and many factors. I think, despite the fact that it's a profession, at a certain level, journalism is artisanal. You look at what your superiors or seniors are doing, and you learn from them. I used to say this, sadly, Nigerian journalism is one of those professions that cannot retain its best. And so we have seen the exit from most newsroom, very good ends. And so, and they have not been replaced by equally good ends. And so that transition has been slowed down. The passage of, or the transmission now of skills, of experience. And I remember when I started again, I remember my first editor telling me, your pen dreams with too much venom, tone it down, tone it down. And so that's experience, telling me that, look, we know you want to save Nigeria, but all of us who want to save Nigeria, tone it down. And so we have lost that transition. We have lost that leadership by example. That's the first thing. Number two, like every other thing in Nigeria, the quality of products coming to the profession is bad. I mean, I've had people that want to get job in the newsroom or want to do internship, and you ask them to do tests, they are afraid, they don't want to do tests. People's knowledge of history is bad. People's knowledge of mathematics or figures on NAV most
or even current affairs.
Or current affairs. So I ask you, who is the governor of Zamfara State? Who is the governor of Kebbi? Who is the governor of Akwa Ibom? If you're scratching your head to know those things. So we've seen that deterioration too, that the quality of land is bad. And then the third, which is major one, we've had media owners, publishers, our broadcast houses owners who do not understand their sacred role. The media is a business, let's not miss that. But then beyond that business aspect is the sacredness of the profession. And sadly, we've not been served well by great owners who understand why they are in this job or why they are in this profession. And that's crucial. When your owner do not understand the role of the profession or the role of the medium that is setting up, it's bad. We've seen owners who are more of politicians than media owners. And they thereby compromise people. The last one, which we should not shy away from, is the corruption in the media. And sadly, like every other sector in Nigeria, the media is not immune from that. We've been badly affected by corruption. When we started, I keep referring to that, it was envelope, but now it's alert. People get money, they twist story. And so when you now look at that, these smaller issues of bias, the smaller issues of not ready to do the groundwork, the smaller issues of crunching things out, analyzing figures, studying it, is sad. And in as much as we've seen donors, funding organizations, the international NGOs supporting journalism at different levels, we must be commended. You still find out that those efforts are like tiny drops in the ocean, and we should do better.
Hey, from where we are now with all of these myriads of issues that you have pointed out, you've itemized, are we in a helpless situation?
No, we are not.
Okay.
We are not. Because like the last point I made, a little bit of funding is coming in. And you can see that kind of, is it osmosis now or diffusion? I've forgotten my elementary biology. So you can see a little bit of things diffusing now. People, in as much as the outlook is grim, there's still this crop of younger people who are determined to do it right, who have been fortunate to be well served by superiors who understand the profession and who are setting the agenda, who knows what to do, or who know what to do rather. So it's not unfortunate. I just hope that tiny spark can lead to a bigger conflagration. I hope so. But I think we should not deceive ourselves. The way the Nigerian media is presently, we can't hold anybody in power accountable. And we are not doing that.
We have elections coming up. This is, as a build-up to elections, to an election year, we often will hear all sorts of headlines, all sorts of stories, every side of it. In fact, some media stations report the stories just like anyone on the street will do. Anybody on the street will, I heard that, did this or said this, as the case may be, and we'll put it out there. It takes us back to the issue of misinformation, fake news and disinformation and things like that. Now, what is the role of the media in trying to ensure, or how challenging, let me put it this, I think is better, how challenging is it for the media to try to educate people adequately? Now, we've seen the issue of the PVCs people are supposed to collect. We've seen the issue of political parties people are supposed to either belong to or register. We've seen the issue of ideologies that are supposed to shape political opinions and stuff like that. What can the media do in this context?
Like I said, the media is not totally helpless. But there's this Yoruba saying that someone will give you a garment. You need to look at what is putting on. I think the media itself is prostrate in seeking to inform others. And so the media will first seek to enlighten itself, seek to enlighten its professionals, seek to understand what exactly are we supposed to do. I could imagine how in different newsrooms, the news editor or director of news and current affairs that you have in broadcast houses, they must have started holding meetings. How do we cover the 2023 elections? What are the issues? I'm sure you must have circulated a copy of the Electoral Act to know exactly what are these things happening. Look at this tiny but crucial issue. I'm one of those who believe that consensus is undemocratic at a certain level. Elections are crucial to democratic norms. So why are you afraid of losing? Lose. And then you can go back. And so now if in a conclave, a group of party elders or party leaders gather together and say, look, Wale is our candidate. So when Nigerians are voting for such person, they are not voting for people's choice because the emergence was undemocratic. So what exactly are we telling people about that? And in our quest to seek for money, which is good, because I've always believed that the journalism that is good is journalism that sustains itself, we forget our public information role. And I love to listen to radios because I've got parents who make us grow up with radios. And I tune to different stations. Sadly, what you see on airwaves do not encourage you. The Radio Nigeria of old in the 70s, when I was much younger, it used to tell us different things, the NTA or NTV of those days. So I could still remember some of those jingles. So, for goodness sake, how many jingles do we get to listen on radio now? Beyond the jingles of COVID, which sometimes have been paid for by UNICEF or WHO or the federal government or the state government or EU. So what about our own jingles that we conceptualize, that we produce? And so we seek to tell people, what is the process of getting voters card? What is the process of registering? What is the process of transferring your registration? Once in a while you come across some of these programs, but then everything is phony now. I don't know what our broadcast colleagues would have done if there are no phones. So we need to step up on that. We need to let people know the process of how does this election, what are the INEC guidelines? So that by the time I appear at the voting center, at the polling booth, we always wait for that last. But there are a lot of processes that are, I remember I think last year, INEC, different zones, organized training for journalists. We need to do more of that. Talk to them. We used to have in those days when I was in the conventional newsroom, all the background briefing that we invite political actors. We'll tell you that, look, we are not reporting this, but just want you to tell us what exactly are the nuances playing out. And these are the things that will guide our reportage. You know the crevices, the inner linings to look for. I hope those things have been done. And then beyond the Honorable Wale said this, Honorable Bode said this, Honorable Tunji said this, the underneath. Because that was the kind of press club reporting I did in secondary school. And every other person can do that. But you must situate what is being said. The kind of leather show reporting rather, is lacking. And we need to do more of that. We have seen that gadgets, as wonderful as they are, media tools as beautiful as they are, they do not automatically good journalists make.
Now let's talk about the issue of freedom of the press, which is very also sacrosanct to the profession, because the point there is you're doing the job, the sacredness of it in the best of its form. You need to be allowed to do the job. The point there is you do the job and somebody feels that what you said did not represent it. Sue the person and go through the process and let it handle. But talk to us about the issue of the freedom of the press in Nigeria. We're still debating whether we're free enough.
Was it this week or last week when the World Press Freedom Index was released? And I think our information minister was reacting to that.
Exactly, he did.
I think, sincerely, I sympathize a lot with you guys in broadcast, sincerely, because I know that NBC is not letting you breathe, and that's a fact. People might not know this outside. I've had colleagues among you, including yourself. I know friends who are actually heading stations, and when they tell me things they are supposed to do or things they are not supposed to do, I think for broadcasters, you have been severely affected more than print, sincerely, or online. And I think it's crucial that the media is allowed to do its work unfettered, is allowed to do its work unhindered. I think the citizens are the one, the media, you people who have broadcasters now in Nigeria, you have a limited role, or you have a, how do I put it now? You are limited in how you can canvass for this. I think it's up to citizens. I think it's up to media NGOs to actually do more canvassing for you, with a lot of the shackles and fetters being put on your feet or in your way. So I think the powers that be should allow the media to do its work. And I think other sectors, what we were taught in those days is that when you see an attack on the media house, report it as seriously as possible, because it might be your turn next time. Exactly. So, and I think that dichotomy, the line is no longer, is getting blurred. You shoot your own videos now, you write your own script, you produce your own podcast or whatever. So we need to support you people, broadcasters in Nigeria, so that you can do your job. I know that there are so many things they tell you. I go to studios, I see things on their board, don't report this, don't report that. I see the fines that you pay. Those things are not tidy. Because when the operation is huge, the cost behind media operation is huge. Diesel now maybe 600 or 700 naira per liter. If banks that we think have bottomless pit of money, they're actually shutting down earlier now. Banks. So how much more media houses? So when you are asked to pay 5 million fine today, 10 million fine today, there is a way this leads to self-censorship. And in such things, the media is not free.
Yeah.
We always, hold on please, we always, I will make this, we interpret media freedom in the sense of, what do you call it? In the sense of people being arrested. No, there are many things underground that are shackling the media that the citizens do not know outside.
But how do we balance, though? Because sometimes we've seen some media stations actually violate the code, the broadcast code here and there. And then when the regulators, come for such kind of media, we've seen some level of solidarity, which is not wrong, but the point there is, there is a laid down principle. If you do this there's going to be a consequence and all of that. And then when you do it, and the consequence is about to come, and you say, hey, allow me to be free. How do we balance that so that the media is not a victim of what it's trying to preach against?
Well, you are asking in a way now about the arrogance of the media. And behind every journalist is the arrogance, thinking we know it all. I think if the code has been specified and you did not react at the initial stage, you don't challenge that in the law court, you have to abide with the code. And if you have found, if you dare do along that line, pay the penalty. But then if the code is injurious, or the code is illegal, or the code stand against what the media stand for, we have organs, we have the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, we have media owners. Challenge that as a group. That's it.
All right. Thank you so much, Wale Fatade, for coming on the program. Pleasure. Your insight is really deep, and we understand it, and we appreciate it as well. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.